Welcome students. Again your Kanchan ma'am is here to teach you social science, and today we are going to discuss our new chapter, that is movements of the earth. Students, do you know how many different types of motions does the earth have? Yes, earth has two types of motions. Those are rotation and revolution. Motion means movements. Now the question arises, what is rotation? The spinning motion of an object on its axis is called rotation. Students, have you ever played with top? Do you know how the top moves? Yes, the top turns around itself, and any object that turns about itself actually turns around a certain imaginary line. The turning or spinning motion of an object around itself is called rotation, and the imaginary line around which it rotates is called the axis of its rotation. Look at the screen, students. You can see an imaginary line around which the top spins, that is the axis of the top. Same like top, the earth is also rotates around its axis. You can see on the top we are having North Pole, and at the bottom we are having South Pole. And the earth rotates around its axis from west to east. The another motion of the earth is called revolution. When the earth rounds the sun in a fixed path, that is called orbit, it is called revolution. In screen you can see the yellow arrows shows the revolution of the earth. These arrows shows the earth is moving around the sun in a fixed path. Let me give you detailed information about the rotation. If you take a globe and spin it, it spins around a line passing through its center. This imaginary line around which it spins is called its axis, and the earth also spins about its axis in the same way. This spinning motion of the earth is called rotation. Rotation of the earth on its axis over a 24 hours period, and the speed of the rotation is 1038 miles per hour. Now look at the screen. This picture shows us the rotation of the earth. Earth rotates on its axis, and you can see here we are having red arrow that shows the rotation of the earth. And one complete rotation takes 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4.1 seconds. And we can say the earth completes one rotation around its axis in about 24 hours. That's why one day and one night are of 24 hours. Now let me tell you the effects of rotation on the earth. Students, do you know what are the effects of rotation on the earth? Yes, the rotation of the earth around its axis causes day and night. As the earth rotates on its axis, half of the earth faces the sun and half of the earth faces away from the sun. The half of the earth that faces the sun will experience day, and while the half of the earth that faces away from the sun will experience night. It means the portion of the earth facing the sun has day, and the portion facing away from the sun has night. As the earth rotates, day and night follow each other. That's why after the day we are having night, and after night again we are having the day. Students, do you know why one day and one night are of 24 hours? Yes, the earth completes one rotation around its axis in 24 hours, That's why one day and one night are of 24 hours. Now look at the picture of day and night. The half of the earth that is facing the sun rays will experience day, while the half of the earth that is away from the sun rays will experience night. And you can easily see and understand this by the image. Now let me tell you more about the another motion of the earth, that is revolution. The earth also moves around the sun in a fixed path called orbit, and this movement is called the revolution of the earth. The earth completes one revolution around the sun in about 365 days or 1 year, and the speed of earth's rotation is about 18 miles per second. Students, here I want to share one more information. In the solar system, the planet Venus has the longest day. A day in Venus is equal to 243 days on the earth. However, a year on Venus lasts for only 224.7 earth days. Therefore, a day on earth is longer than its year. And students, the planet Jupiter has the shortest day, only 9.8 earth hours. Now students, let me tell you about the effects of the revolution on the earth. The revolution of the earth gives us the different seasons like summer, winter, autumn and spring. Summer season. Summer solstice marks the beginning of summer on June 21 or 22. June 21 is the longest day. When it is summer in the northern hemisphere, it will be winter in the southern hemisphere. And the sun is directly over the Tropic of Cancer. Students, do you know what is solstice? Yes, the solstice is the day of the year when sunlight is furthest north and south of the equator. One summer solstice occurs on June 21st, the first day of the summer. Our winter solstice occurs on December 21st, the first day of the winter. Now students, look at the screen. Here we are having a picture and I have marked a red circle on June 22, summer solstice. Here students, you can see a red dot in June 22. This red dot shows the North Pole and a yellow dot shows the South Pole. And as you all know, while revolving around the sun, the earth is tilted to one side, and the half of the earth that is tilted toward the sun gets longer hours of sunlight and has summer. The half that is tilted away from the sun has lesser hours of sunlight and has winter. And you can see here the North Pole is tilted toward the sun and the South Pole is tilted away from the sun, as in June in the picture. At this time, the northern hemisphere has summer and the southern hemisphere has winter. Winter season. Winter solstice mark the beginning of the winter on December 21, 22, and December 21 is the shortest day. And as you all know, our winter solstice occur on December 21st, the first day of the winter. Now, look at the picture. Here also I have marked red circle and you can see here we are having December 22, winter solstice. And when the South Pole is tilted towards the sun, the North Pole is tilted away from it. As in December in the figure, you can see here we are having red dot that is showing North Pole and yellow dot shows the South Pole. And as you all know, the South Pole is tilted towards the sun and the North Pole is tilted away from the sun. So the southern hemisphere has summer and the northern hemisphere has winter at this time. Next, spring season. Spring equinox marks the beginning of the spring on March 20 or 21. When it is spring in the northern hemisphere, it will be autumn in the southern hemisphere, and the sun is directly over the equator. Students, do you know what is equinox? Yes, the equinox occurs twice a year when the sun is directly overhead at the equator. Look at the picture, students. In March and September, both the poles are at an equal distance from the sun. Next, autumn season. Autumn equinox marks the beginning of the autumn on September 22 or 23. When it is autumn in the northern hemisphere, it will be spring in the southern hemisphere, and the sun is directly over equator. As you all know, students, in March and September, North Pole and South Pole are at an equal distance from the sun, and in March the northern hemisphere has spring and the southern hemisphere has autumn, and in September the northern hemisphere has autumn and the southern hemisphere has spring. Students, India is situated in northern hemisphere and Australia is in southern hemisphere. That's why when it is summer in India, it is winter in Australia, and when it is autumn in India, it is spring in Australia. So we can say the revolution of the earth and its tilted axis causes the seasons. Now it's time to ask you some questions. Question number 1. What is the difference between rotation and revolution? Next, give me an example of something that revolves and something that rotates. Next, what type of movements causes night and day? And last, what type of movement causes the change of the season? Students, look at the screen. You can see the picture of first question. What is the difference between rotation and revolution? Here you can have to write the definitions of rotation and revolution. Rotation occurs when an object spins around an axis, and revolution occurs when an object spins around another object. Here you can write the definitions of rotation and revolution. Now, look at the screen and see the next question. Give me an example of something that revolves and something that rotates. Here we are having the rotation of the earth, that is showing the rotating, and here you can also give the example of top. To show the revolving, we are having the picture of the movement of the earth around the sun, that is revolution. Next question, what type of movement causes night and day? And I hope you all know the answer. The earth's rotation causes night and day. Next question, what type of movement causes the change of seasons? The earth's revolution, the angle of the sun, and the length of the day causes the change of the seasons. And you can say revolution of the earth and its tilted axis causes the seasons. Now it's time to do some exercises. First exercise, multiple choice questions. First question, we see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. This happens because, number 1, the earth revolves around the sun. B, the sun revolves around the earth. C, the earth spins on its axis. D, the sun spins on its axis. And the answer is the earth spins on its axis. So we see the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. This happens because the earth spins on its axis. Next question, when the north pole is tilted toward the sun. A. The northern hemisphere has summer and the southern hemisphere has winter. The northern hemisphere has winter and the southern hemisphere has summer. Both hemispheres have summer. Both hemispheres have winter. And the answer is the northern hemisphere has summer and the southern hemisphere has winter. So you can say when the north pole is tilted towards the sun, the northern hemisphere has summer and the southern hemisphere has winter. Next, number 3. The seasons are caused by the rotation of the earth, revolution of the earth around the sun, rotation of the sun, revolution of the sun around the earth. And the answer is revolution of the earth around the sun. So, the seasons are caused by the revolution of the earth around the sun. Next, number 4. You are 10 years old today. You will be 11 after. A. The earth completes one rotation on its axis. B. The earth completes one revolution around the sun. C. The sun completes one revolution around the earth. D. 1 year which is not related to the movement of the earth. And the answer is the earth completes one revolution around the sun. Next, fill in the blanks. The fixed path along which the earth revolves around the sun is called its orbit. Number 2. The part of the earth facing away from the sun has day or night? Yes, the answer is night. Number 3. The imaginary line along which the earth rotates is called its axis. Number 4. Day and night on the earth are caused by the dash of the earth. And the answer is rotation. Day and night on the earth are caused by the rotation of the earth. Fifth one, in the month of June, the dash pole is tilted toward the sun. And the answer is North Pole. That's why we are having summer in the northern hemisphere in June. Now, next exercise, write T for true and F for false statements. First, the earth takes 24 hours to revolve around the sun. It is false because earth takes 365 days to revolve around the sun. Next, number 2, the hemisphere of the earth that is tilted away from the sun gets longer hours of sunlight. It is also false because the hemisphere of the earth that is tilted away from the sun gets lesser hours of sunlight. Number 3, when the north pole is tilted toward the sun, the northern hemisphere has summer. It is true. Number 4, when the northern hemisphere has day, the southern hemisphere has night. It is also false. The correct statement is when the northern hemisphere has summer, the southern hemisphere has winter. Next exercise, answer the following questions. Question 1. How many different types of motions does the earth have? And I hope you all know the answer. The earth has 2 types of motions. First, rotation. Second, revolution. Question number 2. What is meant by rotation of the earth? What is effect of rotation? And the answer, the spinning motion of the earth on its axis is called rotation. Rotation of the earth causes day and night. Next question, why is 1 day and 1 night on the earth of 24 hours? Answer, The portion of the earth facing the sun has day, and the portion of the earth facing away from the sun has night. The earth completes one rotation on its axis in 24 hours. That's why one day and one night are of 24 hours. Question number 4. In the month of June, it is summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in southern hemisphere. Why? And the answer is, in the month of June, it is summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in southern hemisphere, because the north pole is tilted toward the sun and the south pole is tilted away from the sun. That's all for today's class, and I hope you all understood the topic, and now you all are able to give the answers related to the movements of the earth. And students, thank you so much for joining the class. Continue the learning and always join the Zoom classes also to ensure you are present. Thank you so much for joining the class.